Hello to all my foodies out there. I am back with another recipe from Baking Yesteryear today. Today we are doing the Lady Baltimore Cake, which I am really excited to try. I've never made a Lady Baltimore Cake before. I've never even had a Lady Baltimore Cake before, so I am excited to give this a try since it is something completely new for me. I have heard of it. I do have recipes for it in some of my other cookbooks, but like I said, it's nothing I've made. Um, Before we get started on that, I do want to say that the rest of my family did really enjoy the pork cake from last week. I did not. I didn't eat any. I tried a little bit of that first piece that I cut, and that was all that I had. I didn't even finish that piece and didn't have any more, but the rest of my family did really like it. Um, so I did just want to throw that out there, um, that they did like it more than I did. Um, so definitely something to give a try if you're interested in it or if you have the recipe, and see what you think. Um, but I wasn't crazy for about it. Um, so with that said, let's get started on the Lady Baltimore cake. So this cake is actually a layer cake. The ingredients that I have out here now are for the cake part of it. I will do the frosting and the filling in a little bit, but I want to get my cakes done and in the oven before moving on to the filling and the frosting. So for the cake, we have some butter, we've got sugar, there is baking powder and salt in here, egg whites, lemon juice, whole milk, and flour, and sugar. I think I said that, but in case I didn't, there's also some sugar here. Um, so it does seem like a very simple cake, very minimal ingredients for the cake itself. The filling that goes in this has um, maraschino cherries, figs, raisins, and walnuts in it, and then it does have a foiled frosting um, with it. So let's get started on the cake. So our first step is going to be to cream the butter and the sugar together. So I did put that in my bowl here. I am going to get that all mixed up, and when I have that done, I will be back. All right, so I do have my butter and sugar mixed together. It's not get as creamy as I would have liked it to be, but it'll be fine. Um, so in here, I did add the baking powder and the salt to my flour, and we're going to mix that in alternately with the milk to the butter and sugar. When I have that all done, I will be back. All right, so I have that all mixed up together. It does look really good. I do have to say it is a really sticky batter so far, but I'm not quite done with it yet. The next thing I am going to do is to beat the egg whites and lemon juice together. When I have that done, I will be back. All right, so I do have my egg whites and lemon juice beat up. They were a little hard to beat up today. I'm hoping that the egg whites that I do have to beat up for the frosting go a little bit better, but it's going to be fine. I'm going to mix this into the the rest of the batter, and put it in my cake pans. The recipe does say to add this to the rest of the batter in 3 additions, so that's what I'm going to do. When I have that all mixed up, I am going to put it in my cake pans, and I will be back. All right, so I do have my batter in my cake pans. I am going to get these in the oven. While they are baking, I'm going to kind of clean up a little bit, do some of my dishes and everything. When they are out of the oven, I will start the filling and the frosting while the cakes are cooling. Um, until then, I will be back. All right, so my cakes are done. They turned out really great. They've got a really nice color to them. They smell amazing. My kitchen smells like a bakery right now, which is great. Um, I am going to get ready to start the filling and the frosting, and when I am ready to start that, I will be back. All right, so I've got the first step of my filling done. Um, in here is maraschino cherries, dates, raisins, and walnuts. Um, it did call for everything to be finely chopped, so I did use the food processor to kind of chop everything up. I hope I got it chopped finely enough. It's going to be fine either way. And then I did get this all mixed in together. I am going to set this aside for now and start the frosting because the filling does require some of the frosting to be mixed in with it, but the first step was getting all of the fruit mixed together. So I've done that. Um, and now let's get started on the frosting. All right, so I'm getting ready to start the frosting for my cake. It is a boiled frosting. Um, so in here I've got some more egg whites. This is corn syrup. So the recipe did call for light corn syrup, and I thought I had enough. However, I was a little short, but I did have some dark corn syrup, so I did add some of that in there. So it's not going to be the pretty white frosting like it is in the picture because of the dark corn syrup I had to add, but it's still going to be okay. Um, eh, I'm hoping it doesn't change the flavor too much. I'm not sure honestly, not sure what the difference is between light and dark corn syrup other than the color of it. There might not be a difference in flavor. I hope not anyway, but if there is, it's still going to be okay. We're going to eat it anyway. Um, and maybe later on I can try remaking this with all the corn syrup with the light corn syrup instead. But for now, this is what I've got, so it's what I'm going to use. We're going to add some vanilla to it, and then in here I have some sugar. I am going to beat up my egg whites to start, and when I have that done, I will be back. All right, so I do have my egg whites all beaten up. These did beat up better than the batch that I had in the cake. I am going to start the frosting, so I am going to add the corn syrup into my sugar, and I am going to cook that. Oops, I need water in here, which I forgot to get out, so I will add a little bit of the water along with the corn syrup and the sugar. I am going to get that boiled till it reaches the softball stage, which is 240 degrees. When I have that done, I am going to add this to my egg whites. When I am ready to do that, I will be back. All right, I've got my sugar, corn syrup, and water cooking on my stove top here. Like I said, the color is going to be a little bit off because I did have to add some dark corn syrup to this, but it's going to be fine. It's just not going to be as pretty as the picture, but I'm sure it's still going to be all right taste-wise. Once this has reached the right temperature, I am going to add it to my egg whites and beat that together, and I will be back. All right, so I have my vanilla added in here. I'm going to finish mixing this up and I will be back. All right, so my frosting's done. I am going to add some to my filling. I'm going to get that mixed up and assemble my cake. When I have that done, I will show you what it looks like. All right, so I've got my filling all finished. I do have it spread on the bottom layer of my cake. I'm going to add the top layer to this and then frost it with the remaining frosting. I gotta say, it looks really good, and I can't wait to try it. When I have everything finished, I will be back. All right, so my cake is done. I am gonna cut myself a piece in just a second here, but I did want to show it all assembled before I cut it. Um, the book does say to garnish it with additional cherries and walnuts. However, I am out of the cherries, so I am just going to leave it plain. It still looks really good. The frosting did turn out better than I expected. I had made a boiled frosting for a previous recipe. I believe it was the spice cake um, out of the first chapter in this book. This frosting did turn out a lot better than the frosting for that, but it is a little bit cooler, not quite as humid. And I did kind of know what I was doing a little bit better this time around. Um, I am very excited to try this, so I am going to cut a piece of this and let you guys know how it is. All right, so I did cut a piece out of it and I did try it. I just wanted to show you the inside with it all cut, the pretty layers in it. I am going to put the rest of the cake away and I will be back with my final thoughts. All right, so I am back with my final thoughts on the Lady Baltimore cake. I gotta say, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. It was really simple to make. I really liked the filling in it. It had a nice sweet cherry flavor to it, kind of a nice summery flavor. Um, the boiled frosting might be a little bit difficult to make in the summer, but this time of year, it's early September and we are going through some cooler weather. It kind of feels like fall here. Um, and it was a really good temperature to make that frosting today. It did turn out really nice. Overall, it was pretty easy to make. The frosting was the hardest part about the cake, but even that wasn't too bad. Um, just something you kind of have to watch and be careful with it. And like I said, this frosting did turn out a lot better than the first time I made it for the spice cake. But I did kind of know what I was doing more. And I kind of feel now that this is one of those frostings that the more you make it, the easier it gets to make and the more you know what you're doing and just overall the easier and better it turns out. Um, if you have this cookbook, I definitely recommend trying the Lady Baltimore cake. I know there are other recipes out there that are probably pretty similar, but they might be a little bit different just because that's typically how things go. Um, Different recipes will vary slightly for things based off of who's written it, how it's passed down, and stuff like that. So if you do have another Lady Baltimore recipe, I would still recommend giving that a try based off of this one. Like I said, I do have Lady Baltimore cake recipes in some of my other cookbooks. I will definitely give those a try sometime and see how they compare to this one. But yeah, overall, I did really like it. I think this is my new favorite for this chapter, which is the 1910s. We are getting close to the end of the 1910s chapter. I want to say I have 3 or 4 more recipes um, left in this chapter. I know there's a cookie recipe, which will be next week. It's the Anzac biscuits, which is like a cookie, I believe. Got a rice pudding and divinity yet in this chapter, and there might be one more that I'm forgetting, but I'm not 100% sure. It could just be the 3 of them. Um, so next week I will be back with the Anzac biscuits. Until then, good times, good food. Bye.